Laurel Arkenbrack, our forgotten hero.
Forgotten?
Forgotten. He took over a
I made a
plane.
freaking
God damn it.
temple that's about us.
For
He built a giant spaceship.
the first few years, he still, after taking over the Mother's Realm, he still remained visiting people in the old world. But he became more faint as time grew on, more distant, something in the back of his mind nagging him, always there like a thorn. And then one day he just stopped visiting. His mother waited for him for some time, but she had his brother, and in a way, she'd probably been expecting it all along. Children grow up. The awakened. A word rarely spoken, and when spoken, it is in the quiet, dark corners of taverns or in the nightly lecture rooms of the high intelligentsia. Sometimes in muddy little villages all over the realms, they would show up in small groups, parties of 2 to 5. They would find people, take them, their families never seeing them again. The ascension of Laurel revealed much to him. Although it took much time for him to understand, his mind had touched that of unknown beings outside of existence. And before this point, all the voices, all the words had seemed like madness. Now it had begun to make sense. He realized that the voices he had been hearing every single night since his meeting with Azathoth were actually signals sent from the sky outside of the stars. They told the many to keep themselves hidden. People, not knowing what they were, serving masters they had never met. The Aboleth lords of the ancients, those who brought down the Aslanti, had once tried to teach humanity a lesson. They had, slowly, been planting the seeds of aberration in the minds, taking over society by visiting as people high wizards. Back then, humanity had succeeded. Humanity survived, even in a broken form. This time, they would not let such things be up to chance. Laurel found that many, such as Ballard or even himself, had the potential to become something he would rather not think of. That these beings had, through time, through eons, been waiting in the deepest parts of the deepest oceans, and from there puppeteered, planting these signals, preparing the many people for transformation, for obedience, to strike when the signal was sent. They would once and for all teach humanity humility. Upon the realization of this, Laurel constructed a citadel in the center of his realm. Here the picture of that. Hovering in the center, it had a great conflux of energy, which were used to reveal to him the rays and connections of the old ones. He searched the people out and sent agents to find them. When found, they would be shown what they were and taken to the realm of the awakened, where the messages from the great beyond would be blocked. In time, these people learned to control the powers they had been unwittingly given, so that one day, when the lesson of the ancient ones was to be taught, there would be a force opposing them. Perhaps this time not just avoiding destruction, but teaching a lesson in return. The realm itself remained much as it had, although now the events of the plane were fueled by good rather than evil. The greatest change being the levitating city of the awakened, a dimensional sky citadel with a matching sky dock. Look at those two. Outside of the realm, in Emerisia, the Volsenbracks continued much as they were, run now by Rolda, the very charismatic, musical apprentice of Laurel, and with the aid of the King and Queen of Metals, the mechanical and magical wonders continued to flow from the unending streams. Their best, or rather those who studied hard enough to find it, could one day, if they were smart enough, uncover a way, laid there by Laurel himself, to reach the realm of the Awakened and tap into its power in order to use it to make the world a better place, spawning a new generation of scientists and alchemists. The city of Pacifica, now still ruled by the awakened Aboleth Gorgek, he who had been awakened before his time. The power of the realm of the Awakened reaching out to the city, making sure that when the signal was sent, it would not reach him, and he would continue to remain free of the machinations of the Ancient Ones, who had planted him there as an egg in a wizard's basement in the hopes that he would not be found until the time was nigh. Pacifica continued to be a trading hub and facility for recruitment of the realm of the Awakened. Done.
As sad as I feared.
Yeah.
That was much less sad than I feared.
So when the time came when the old ones were about to return, did Laurel call upon his old friends and colleagues?
If they were still around, he imagined, well, they would probably react to it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
He became less and less of a person and more of a force of the realm. Less and less directly involved. More and more absorbed in being a great intelligence in the center of the Sky Citadel, pointing out or pointing in the direction to the signals sent by the Old Ones so that his people could follow them. Many great scions using the power of the aberrant and the power of their mind to combat these things, or to bring these people who had been unfortunately born with these as a product of the machinations of the Old Ones, and bring them in. Sort of like the X-Men, in a way.
Sure.
Lorian asks, what was Laurel's final form?
A big floaty brain.
A great sort of flowing energy like ley lines in the bounds of another realm.
He basically became Sordon from Power Rangers.
It's been some time since I've seen Power Rangers, so...
Never.
Oh, you missed out. So, how many strange fluids did Laurel actually drink?
Not a lot. He
No?
did not drink a lot.
No?
Not a lot. What?
I think he
How many
drank
did you produce is a different story,
maybe
however.
like 10 or so.
10? Uh-huh.
Produced
I have a
more
listing- I
than
have a listing here,
more,
one second.
like a couple of hundreds.
How many of those
One sec.
10
I can answer the question.
did you actually get the correct? Did you correct
One.
one correct?
Yes.
One
There was
correct.
another one that gave. I mean, they had other boons, but it was what I wanted was one thing. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, why would I continue to risk it after I got what I wanted?
No, that's true. That's true. What
One
did you
sec,
want?
I
Was
can
it
see
the
it.
mutation? Mhm.
Yeah, in total, looking at my listings here, he drank a total of 13.
Mm-hmm.
He produced 207.
Still, locked in a cabinet somewhere.
Of which, I will tell you, I'm looking at the list of ones you said you kept before. Over 50% were fake. Even though you only had 25% chance of them being fake.
Beating the odds, huh?
Such as one of the two telepathy ones you had was instant death.
Yeah. Well, is that really something that'll touch him now?
Yeah, I have a huge spreadsheet where I stored all of these things. It's quite fun.
Oh dear.
So Laurel did not reproduce after that
He
one.
constructed basically children for himself. The king and queen of metals being his homunculi that did have his blood in their veins, living forever, I suppose, as the de facto rulers of the Wolzenberg, as all the constructs constructed would follow their commands. How much money did Lord spend on chemical ingredients over the entire campaign? I have no idea.
I think it's safe to say that Laurel was at least the richest character in the entire campaign.
Oh, most definitely.
You know,
by
one day he
far.
just came to me. I was like, I'll give Zoe this. I was like, that's really expensive. Yeah, but you need it. It was pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He never was a fighter.
did you make a move on?
No, they never really saw each other again.
What?
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, we'll make up
She
blindly.
totally had a thing for you.
I bet
Laurel
she
never
did.
caught on.
No.
Aw.
Never got the hint.
Didn't we all say that to you
Yes.
though?
Yes, we did.
I think
Like-
Raphael was like, she likes
He
men.
thought you were joking.
No.
There could maybe have been a different fate, but alas, the world needed him, and he knew, like Ballard in a way, that if he had died, he might turn into what he would not want to, which would be a black aboleth,
Ugh.
awakened and with its full evil potential. So the only way was to slowly disintegrate his consciousness into this realm, passing the torch to the many others, giving them the same opportunities and better opportunities that he had in his life. But they could use their powers for good rather than evil.
I think Laurel, and I think this is sort of an effect of your role playing Manikai, but I think Laurel was definitely the most like melancholy of all the characters. He always seemed so sad.
He never wanted any of it. He just wanted to have his little shop and provide for his family. But his ability made him... He was unable to stop because there was always a greater problem that he had to help the world solve that could not solve without him.
The curse of excellence, basically.
Yeah, he was driven by his need to do good into basically, becoming, ending himself in a way. He's no longer the Laurel anyone knew. He's merely a faint presence upon everything in this realm.
But even when Laurel was working at the shop, he was sad. He was like, "Oh, I just work all the time. I don't even have a bed."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't have a bed.
I think it was
poor
underneath the
Laurel.
counter or something, a sleeping bag.
He had a period where he was kind of happy when he had opened his new store, where he had the house renovated, and where he was Lord Mayor, and things were going well, but things escalated, and he had to push it further. And then when they attacked the witch, that's when he wasn't going to be mutated or anything. He was going to walk the fine line of keeping his humanity. But at that point, he realized that the odds were so ridiculously against us that the only way he could really help was to give up his humanity to save the realm. And that's really the way, that's really the day he died, in a way. Because he knew at that point that he could not, he would never be able to have a normal life after that. He could never, because he had become an instrument of victory, of pushing the borders of existence and what's possible further and further. And after that, he had become something that simply could not, remain in a normal life. He could not go to the baker and buy bread for his family and then go home and sit down and do nothing. He had simply got too much power to do nothing.
Again, so sad.
Now he's using the enemy's weapons against them.
Yep, totally sort of.
Any other questions?
I don't think you made any arms, did you?
But no, of course not. The
After
power
all
of
that-
that is there, but it is unwilling to help. He did lend his power to people, but only to help them reach new levels of excellence, such as, in science and alchemy and construction of things that would help improve society.
I mean, with all the problems we had destroying them, making new ones seemed silly.
The no flush toilet
Yeah. Oh.
introduced.
Oh.
It's just a deep.
It's just a deep pit. Oh, huh, just maybe. Oh, yeah, I know what
Goes
you
all
do.
the way
like
to the
at
Underdark.
it drops down on
It's
the on
just
the
a
on the
deep
Drow
pit
City.
of
Oh, that swag toilet.
the wreck of the.
The wreck of the
City,
city.
you mean?
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions for now, but I'm sure more will come up as we sort of continue this.
Probably.
Sure.
As we go along.
I think that's Artemis and parentheses Rith.
And proceeds Wrath. Alright, I'm pretty much just gonna do Artemis, and Rift's just there as a full question,
In
basically.
memoriam.
Yeah, sad. But yeah, I'll just read what I've got written down. With the usurper killed and the first emperor destroyed, Artemis withdrew for pretty much a decade, returning only to visit on special occasions like birthdays and weddings. Much to a lot of the group's surprise, Artemis grew a bond with Lucilia, the elfin princess, and they ended up spending the rest of their very long lives together. After a few years of that decade, Artemis and Lucilia married, inviting all of you to the small but personal ceremony. Artemis insisting that the group stay in his castle that had grown. Insisting that they stayed for a week, for at least a week. Whether people could or not was a different story. Lucilia and Artemis never had children. Perhaps the mix of bloods just made it impossible, but no one really knows. They didn't really mind. Artemis's castle did grow into a veritable fortress, built to survive dragons, because what else do you arm it against? For the years that Artemis was away, it was under the control of the twins. The mage diverting all of the messages to Artemis. For Artemis just sat in his seat in front of the world tree for all those years. After the years passed, Bargnell and Ragnell grew up to be pretty mighty dragons. The dragon eggs hatched, and with the help of the Silvers, Artemis spread them to the corners of the empire. Once they were grown, they were offered places in the court. The good ones, at least. Artemis and the Silvers never exactly argued for power, just waiting for the Arbiter to arrive one day. And when the gold dragon eggs were dispersed, no one knew where they were located, apart from Artemis and the Silvers. Some people think Lucilia knew, but only really in rumour. After many years, his drinking and partying fell far into the past. Every 50 years, he would venture out to protect a town, from a nobody town, from a small threat. And in that threat, he would pick a young, brave child who lost their family and take them in as his own, and would raise them just like the last Arbiter did, and training them to be great knights like himself. Artemis never really aged, always looking quite similar. He got a bit gruff in his years, but always looking quite the same. Around just shortly after his 974th birthday, Artemis passed away, but sending a message just before to everyone who was still alive, is saying to my friends who live on My time on this earth is nearly at a close, but I leave you with this good news. The Arbiter has arrived. My castle should support itself, under the rule of the Arbiter if he wishes. If not, the army shall disband, and the castle will be given to the Empire. With that wrapped up, I thank you all for the help in protecting the tree, destroying 2 great threats to the land. For those still living of our group, I wish you a longer life than I enjoyed. My time spent with you was short, but it was great, and I would trade my long life to spend a short human life with all of you again. Live long, live well, and live happy. Artemis. When he died, his weapons and armor were left for the knights that lived on, and only given if the new Arbiter allowed them to have the weaponry. And that's it.
Aw.
Any questions?
No, she deserved love, you know?
Who was the arbiter? Did I
She
miss
was so annoying at the time, though.
She was. But you know, so
The
many
Arbiter
characters
was-
were, and they were all influenced by someone. The only reason we hated
yeah.
them was because they were controlled by someone.
The Arbiter was the gold dragon, Jake.
I thought so, but I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Malon asked the
Yeah.
question I think we all are asking ourselves. The World Tree, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
What was that? Tell us the mystery.
What about the mystery?
What, the world tree?
What was it?
The
was the
world
World
tree. The world tree was, well. Let's see. Let's see. Now, Laura would fully understand what the world tree is now. Its new position. For it was a very long time ago. According to Laurel's plane, even before Fezia took her position fully. It was just a seed planted by one of the Fey Lords to create a new land, which actually did form a continent. Though it did more than that. It was the reason Fezia's power was so close to it. It made the continent almost part of the Fey itself, but only just. Unfortunately, well, in one sense, it brought life to the continent. On the other, it also brought its danger along. Though in the end, life sprouted more than danger, it seems, as the threats were passed away. For all of the little fruits, or little gems you saw hanging on it, they were indeed the glittering life forces all created by the World Tree. Destroying them? Well, what would have happened is not nice in any way. It wouldn't be death, per se, but instead just a lack of existence. There would be no afterlife, just they'd be gone. If you could find it.
Lorian asked what happened to the bronze dragon lady.
So the World Tree was actually where like the realm of Emericella grew from.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
But it could teleport, though, so it's not like physically in the middle.
No.
It is the plane. It's almost like a planar heart to the place. Although a continent that should have never been there, but just grew one day. Well, over the span of millennia, it started to grow.
Sure.
I mean, and Amalon Fezia could teleport to plants because that was one of her abilities. She could use I think it's like travel through plant spell or something. She could use it as a free action. Which was, yeah.
I think the 10 original Great Worms were like part of the whole World Tree deal.
They came with the bargain.
They came with the bag, yeah.
They came shortly after the World Tree began to grow the lands, and they were its protectors. Well, but all of them died before the assault. None survived.
Yeah. Artemis did not get his sword back from the Abyss. No. He had too much shit to deal with.
It's,
And
some
Artemis
lucky
wasn't
or unlucky demon still
Unlucky,
holds
yeah.
it. It's like, ugh, it
Whenever
burns and
the
drains
your
me.
demons take it, they just poof.
Yeah, he just likes the fact that that it would just fuck with them. And Artemis stayed like he was, just a bit grumpier as he got older, past his 900 years old. To Malon's question, he didn't become like Yoda.
Didn't just fade away and leave a robe behind.
Did he still
No.
go and have parties and chill with people?
Yeah.
Or was he just become like
after-
solitude defender?
After like the first decade, he like the first decade he was just getting everything sorted, relaxing after all the crap, and then he tended to go out, have his usual fun. But he would only do that occasionally. He would spend most of his time either at the fortress or the World Tree.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was there a method to Rith's madness?
There was
What the
always a
fuck,
method.
Rith?
Is it like a die roll or?
There was always a method, but it was just how I felt, basically.
So you were Nethys.
I was Nethys, yeah, literally. That's how it worked. Yeah, if we want to go on to Riff, Manon asked if Riff was related to the Cartillion, like Riff's fall related to Cartillion and the arms. I don't know. Riff,
No.
Dark Knight. No.
Well, kind of.
So
Do-
just
Kind
give us the breakdown on Rith. Like, what
Yeah,
was she?
Give us the breakdown, man. Breakdown. I don't know the entire
Put it down now.
What's up with that feather? Shit.
There was only one feather, like, that was it.
Oh,
That was
man.
one feather, man.
And the one in the bishop's deck. And like she was
dunno.
doing a fetch quest.
Oh, what that, yeah, the necklace thing. I'm not sure. That's Dark has to fill in those blanks.
You don't know why you were after the necklace?
I knew that it was originally Riff's, and there was like a secret in it, and I was literally like a session or two away from knowing, and the Riff got killed off, so I didn't find out.
So what was the secret of Rith?
Riff used to be one of the, well, contractors of Nephis herself, or Nephis himself, well, herself, depending on his day, I suppose.
It's he, she.
You know, 3.5 had some weird items. I'm just saying. But yeah, she used to be one of the contractors. But though what exactly she did to get thrown out of the planes will never be known. She was eventually cast down and stripped of her mortal power, thrown down as a mortal upon the plane, only to return if and when she could ever truly resolve the situation on the continent, causing so much magical disruption. Yet she was not able to do that. The feather and the various other items she was going after were just all small pieces of her that fell as well, fragments of her power, things that she could have tried to regain and tried to climb the ranks up otherwise. Yet she would never be able to obtain that power, for Rift died. She will never return to where truly would be home, even if she can't remember it.
You know, I'm just saying that I feel that of all the magic disrupt that she was supposed to stop, I feel like she was part of it.
Yeah, she kinda...
Yeah, she only made it worse.
Oh, Rith. You were so
You
crazy.
really don't know how to do stuff, do you? Right.
She knew.
She was new at this, you know?
Yeah, she was new. Like, she didn't know about this weird plane. Like, what's up with it?
Well, I guess more questions about like Rith and what the fuck was going on is gonna come along as we sort of do this, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
So that
Next on
now
the schedule.
we've covered all of these. Also, I see fan art apparently.
Yes.
We got fan art.
It's in here.
Which users donated this fan art?
This is Malorn,
Malon.
the ever productive.
Yes.
We
All the
recognize his
hugs to
style
Malon,
by now.
All the hugs Malon then.
All the hugs to Malorn.
So now really is a question of, is there any questions that either chat or you guys want to throw at me that are immediately on top of your head that you want to know now?
I think we can like transfer into the.
I would have one question, actually. Those cultists that did all those weird things, did
Yes.
we truly stop that? Because I feel like we didn't.
Did you stop them permanently? No, there were always the cults would always come back. Someone would find the text and always research it. Did you stop them at that point in time? Yes.
So.
Your efforts, not all directly. Some of them were indirect things, such as giving information to the Prince Bishop, but you did in the end stop them.
So we have the sort of discussion points in the Google Doc here. I'm going to post a link in chat so people can take a peek at the discussion stuff we're going to do now. The last point, last order of business there is like a Q&A, like when we just throw all the questions we might have from everyone at everything. But I think, let's see, should we get a link?
I would like to say something to Halldamir real quick.
Uh-huh.
You know, the hilarious thing is, if you invited all of us to stay a week in your castle, you know they're gonna bring kids. You know, if Raphael and Ralda has kids, Zoe and Karun also has kids. It's gonna be a freaking hell in there.
And
It's a
Ballard will
frickin'
probably have brought
fortress.
like some sort of small creature you've never seen before.
This is a humble
giant-
guff.
A humble
Don't
guff.
tickle it under the feather.
It's a Buzzlegum!
Oh, it's Mr. Buzzlegum!
Mr. Buzzlegum!
Oh, you found him!
Yay!
Yay, Mr. Buzzlegum! Well,
I bet it may be chaos, but I bet it was fun that week. at
Yeah,
the
Artemis
castle.
wouldn't ever matter. I wouldn't really care, to be honest. If there's kids around.
you damn kids! If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna post down in the description of the video. It's gonna be a link to this suggested topics document that we have. If you want to take a look at it, feel free. If you don't, well, that's that.
Some
Then we're
of
not gonna
the
threaten it.
some of the writing may not make sense, but that is because it is multiple people who've written answering other people's previous commentary. You can play the fun
only
game
one
of
in
guessing who made what comments.
Yes.
I have a question. Who is the dude with the huge dude with the? Is that guy we met with the scythe?
What?
That's the Emperor.
The Emperor.
That's the Emperor. He had the
Oh.
dancing scythe.
He's all the strange things because he has all the arms.
Jonas, I think you linked
That's
the edit
true.
post.
I did.
Yeah.
No. It says edit at the end, but they can't edit it. No one can edit it.
Okay. All right.
It's just the URL formatting. So
No one shall edit. All right. Well, with that, let's
Let's go on then.
I guess we should
So-
go on. So the first order of business is to discuss how it all started, picking the campaign, making our characters, thoughts at the start,
Oh, yeah.
what we thought it was going to be, ambitions and goals at the time. I guess we'll start with DDS, as he's the DM.
Makes sense.
okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense. So picking the campaign. Well, I initially started out. I didn't know what exactly I wanted to DM. I was really unsure what I wanted to do. So I kind of started by kind of just threw the question out there, like here's a bunch of ideas I've had, a bunch of different campaigns I've worked on, because I often did this. For example, I'd be riding on the bus to school and I'd just create random ideas and notes. I might develop them if I got inspiration of them. So I kind of threw some of them out to you guys and kind of listened to your input, and you kind of all kind of gave some ideas of what you wanted. And in the end, I picked this campaign, which was actually my most fleshed out of the ideas I had as well, so it's convenient, the least amount of planning time needed to get it all started. So, wasn't that bad. Other than that, though, the campaign was I designed it to be free-flowing and kind of allow you to adapt to what you wanted to do, because you happily had the option. Did you guys want to play evil characters? You were playing Way of the Wicked at the time, but, maybe you did. If so, I had options for evil. There were options for good. Options for really lawful, really chaotic, which you, for a while, I thought you were going to go down, but then I showed up.
It was tough.
So overall, that was picking the campaign to me. For making characters, I think that's more of a thing for you guys to handle, because your characters.
True, but you also made like the principal characters of the universe, like the
is
mother
true.
and the witch, and like Empress Erolda, and like
That is true.
Alvron, and like all
Was
of these.
the mother there from the
Prince-
very beginning?
Prince Bishop. Oh, Prince Bishop.
The mother was always a figure who existed in the world and was one of the few characters which was what I marked as an essential character. They were going to show up regardless of what you did in the story. They would at some point show up, something about them. The same as the Emperor was. Erolda was going to. Was it Erolda? Empress Erolda. Or now Swashbuckler Erolda. The King. Those ones would always show up in the campaign.
I
The
like
Emperor,
to.
Erolda, the King, the Mother. They were always going to show up. The rest of the characters were kind of it depends where the characters want to focus on. Can really happen. For creating those characters, I mean, I could literally do like a video per character because some of them had really long stories. Though.
Which of the characters you created
So,
were
I don't
you
wanna
were the most like happy with?
Oh, that is an interesting one.
Someone that you look
And
back at it now and like that turned out really great.
The scheming of the witch I enjoyed quite a bit, possibly because of the times of Riff. That was something quite interesting for me. That went very different to the way I expected, but in a good way. I exceeded my expectations of how I ended up playing the witch with different people. Erolda was also another character which I conveyed such a conflicted thing across with, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Some of the party hated her, some of the party liked her, some of the party saw her as misunderstood. There's quite a few characters. There's some characters I don't feel I gave justice to. Kingy, I think I gave a decent bit of justice to. I got the hatred that I wanted from the players across.
God,
Bruce,
that's
some-
fucking
ridiculous,
Kingy.
though.
Kingy has seemed so inept,
Petty.
like so petty. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was petty. That was one of my things in his notes. Petty.
I'd
Literally, one word.
like to ask if Zoe hadn't, or maybe more me, if I hadn't been so mean to him and actually agreed to play cards with him, would I have been able to sway him to maybe going with the mother is not a good idea?
Not Kingy.
Yeah.
Probably not. There were some ways it'd be possible, but it's
Why did
a lot of effort. It would be. He naturally would not want to side of you.
Why did he even come? And I was like in the plane, and somehow I just drew him in, and he's like, "Do you want to play cards?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to play cards." Damn it! So weird.
I had no idea there was a card playing session between Kingy and Zoe. That's news to me.
No, well, it was weird because Zoe went into the plane and drew him into the plane, and then he basically Zoe tried to talk to him, but I just got more and more annoyed with him. And then he asked, "Do you want to play cards?" And so he's like, "No, I don't play cards." And then I basically just freaked out and told him he was a lesser man and he should basically just go to hell.
Wow.
But I said it in much worse words, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A result of that, though, was him going on his rampage and almost killing Zoe's father and getting hit with a bust.
You know, I thought he was going to torture Zoe because he drew a dagger at Zoe. And I was like, shit, he's gonna torture her because she can't die in this plane.
It was the arm of escape, though. the
Well,
dagger.
he pointed it at her, and I was like, shit, what have I done? So I was like, okay, Zoe's cool. She can do this because she's been through a lot of pain. So she's basically like, you think you can scare me with pain? And then he's like, no, but I know who I can scare you with. And then he just teleported away. I was like, shit! And then I secretly prayed that he would go for Raphael because I was like, he's gonna die if he does that.
That would be fun if Kingy showed up with a dagger against Raphael. He'd be like, what?
Well,
I still like how your father
time,
critted, though, Kingy.
It was hilarious. I because at that time Zoe had a crush on Raphael, and I thought, please let it be Raphael because he can at least defend himself. And it would have been hilarious because Raphael would be like, Kingy just threw at me and said he will hurt the one Zoe loves the most. What's going on? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Baka.
Baka. But he went for Zoe's father, and he critted him with the bust. And you know the K in the window. I like the story. Like, he broke my window. It was funny.
Returning to the original question, I think characters that really stood out to me is I was not expecting to be as big as they were. I think that, though, I have to give to Moonseer.
Yes, Moonseer.
Yes,
He's the
Moonseer.
true MVP of the.
He's so nice.
He was
Because
so
I never-
nice. He sort of stood up whenever we needed him.
Yeah.
At the beginning,
He
he
was
totally
gonna say-
believed it. I was like, "Yeah, we'll help you fight the North Side Alliance for like freedom." And then he was just always, there was never any doubt what side he was on.
Yeah,
Oh,
Moonseer was
that's
always Moonseer was a character I put in there specifically for basically as something for the as an aid for the party because they had disadvantage. He was there to help the party out, and he did generally want to help you, and he ended up being far more of a character than I expected him to be. Well, I thought of him more as an asset originally by putting him in for you. So
Oh, Moonseer.
which
I
I
know.
North Side Alliance.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll get to that though. We should talk
We should.
about creating characters, right?
other than that, I had no idea what would happen when I put William in. That was something I was unsure of. I had no idea how that would turn out
Right.
I don't.
because that was an anomaly. That was very much an anomaly for me, and a pleasant anomaly with how you guys reacted.
That was interesting. So, yeah, I guess character creation?
Well, yeah, I can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
With it because I had quite a lot of thought with Laurel. Actually, I was sort of we decided we wanted the city campaign, and I was like, this is gonna be great. There's gonna be like NPCs and people. I should make like a super social character and be like the stuff. But then I was like, well, I already as a player talk a lot. So if I make a character who is like really good at talking in a city campaign, I'll basically having all the airtime alone. And I was like, I don't really want that, honestly. So I made a character who was absolutely inept at talking to people instead. And well, I was also thinking that as a city campaign, this might be a chance to actually use some of those ultimate campaign like building rules and stuff to have like a place in the community and develop. And I basically, well, it was good. I made Laurel to play Reciteer in Fighter and have an alchemical item shop, and I made maps for it and everything, calculating budgets, and really just set him up to do as much damn crafting as I could, and just kind of neglect combat a little bit. I went with Alchemist because I think it's a really cool class and I want to explore some of the cool things with it. Initially, it was not really anything to do with aberrations. That sort of came on later. As he looked for ways to improve upon himself. But it was certainly supposed to be, he was supposed to originally sort of provide, his contribution to battle would mostly be to have provided his allies with like buffs, or enemies with debuffs and weakening them, entangling them and such, or to simply like make sure that the party had the funds and the money and the resources needed to do whatever crazy plans we would come up with. That was his main purpose. Never to shine in battle, never to be shine in social, but to shine a lot in the downtime, sort of enabling story-wise in a way. It was not something I tried before, but I think it went successfully in the end. So I like playing it.
So
Mhm.
I will certainly say all your efforts, with, for example, with building the tower. Every so often, I keep looking back over to the files I've been given and kind of like looking through them and then kind of make little notes because as the tower as you kind of made the tower bigger and you kind of built these different projects, all of them were having small effects both on the NPCs in the game world, but of course also when the final moments of the game came round. For example, that final scene would have looked so different without the left efforts of Laura and Blood.
We we could probably share them now, Manikai. We literally have like 3 spreadsheets, just like these big pages
Google
with
Docs,
finances and shit, like Google Doc finance.
We never actually
spreadsheets.
finished constructing the tower. It was just too
No, we
big.
didn't. Yeah,
Too fucking big.
there was like not enough stuff to put in.
Also, like it took so long to build that we had sort of eclipsed it. When we finally like got to this point and had enough money, we sort of didn't really need a tower anymore. Now we had like a keep in
Yeah.
the valley. Then we began building on that, but then we suddenly needed airships and like golems. Then we began building that. Then we need like gunpowder things. Then we build like a spaceship. So we constantly like completely, like whatever we were doing would be completely one-upping and sort of making whatever things we've been doing previously superfluous.
Yeah.
Like, it had to ever end it. Like then we built like an underwater civilization where we could retire if need be. It was like it's constantly one-upping things very much. But initially it was supposed to just be like doing the crafting stuff. And well, the whole thing with Ballard actually came through. We were like we wanted connections with other characters. I think we had 2 connections each, and I got Ritherland and Ballard. Ritherland, he was used to. She would help him basically do some arcane stuff and help understand magic in a way because he did alchemy. And Ballard was his childhood friend.
Yeah.
Also, we had that one guy who died like in the second session or whatnot. That what was his name? The
Yeah,
asshole Bard
the
person
asshole.
who had got you fired.
Randall or
Yeah,
something.
fucking Randall.
Yeah. Fucking Randall.
He didn't even know what he was doing. If he knew what happened at this point, he should resurrect him. See.
He would shit himself.
Look, Randall! Look what he had become.
And there's just a Frogomorph, but that's baller.
That I linked in chat is the spreadsheet for the tower.
People can't edit it, right?
No, I changed it to.
The finances one.
Yeah, that's got all the finances and stuff for the tower
This
specifically.
like
Oh God.
I also had a list of
112,000
now. Actually, like
gold.
almost 4 million gold has been used.
Yeah.
on all these.
I also had a list of a bunch of cool airship names that we never really got to use.
Of course you make a spreadsheet.
So talk to us.
This is one of 3 spreadsheets.
So tell us, Jake, about Bollard then and creating Bollard.
Well, actually, Ballard came about because I wanted to. It was right after that one book came out that had all the hybrid classes in it, and I was like, "Wow, the Blood Rager looks really cool." So I just wanted to make a Blood Rager to be honest, and I was looking through all the different bloodlines, and I was like, "Huh, this aberrant one looks kind of cool. Like it's stretchy arms." And it basically that was the whole thought process into that, and it just kind of evolved from there. Like the whole Ballard's a cook that happened because the first time I opened my door on stream, I had bacon in my mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was like,
very
I'll
organic.
cook some bacon, and then
yeah,
I love meat. I cook meat a lot. Let's open a meat shop.
I like the fact the first time we knocked on your door, you had bacon in your mouth, and we were like, "Are you ready?" And you were like, "Meh." You just woke up. You had that cobalt in your face.
He certainly is known for the stretchy arms. I think
He is.
Yeah.
growing big and having like reach. Like with the picture on stream right now, it's basically him hugging everyone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not
it's so
stretchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Laura looking,
And I think that was a
girl.
good thing. I like that. That's how Ballard turned out. Where, he just he was the big guy with tons of reach. He could be anywhere in a fight and hit anybody from anywhere. Like, oh, you guys are having a little trouble over there. Let me 5-foot step, and now I can reach. Being like the central pillar of the fight to assist anyone.
Well, apparently somehow, Malin says that Ballard is in Italian bollard, and lard is larder, which means bacon.
Yeah, and that was completely on accident. In fact, I wasn't even aware when I made the name. Originally, his name was Ballad, but
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
said Ballard, so
Yeah,
I changed it.
I think I kept
That's-
calling him Bollard, and you were like,
I think we all did.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right, fuck it. His name is Ballard, and I like it better.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at the time that a bollard is, you know, how like outside of like banks and
Yep.
stuff, they have these pillars sticking out on the sidewalk so you can't crash your car into the building.
Yep.
That is a bollard.
yeah. So you
Protect
were
pedestrians from crashing cars.
you were the Bollard of the party. You kept things from crashing into the party.
Yeah.
Well,
How does Frogmouth taste? Melon asks. I have no idea.
Very amphibian.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably tastes a lot like frog.
Very salty.
Kind of like a Solarian.
If you've ever tasted that.
Yeah.
who hasn't?
So yeah.
I really like Bollard. When we met him, I never I'll never forget. That's how it was supposed to be. The first day when all our characters met, and we went to Ballard's house to get him. And when you open the door, and he says, "Ballard opens the door. He looks like he just woke up, and he has bacon in his mouth, and he says, 'Meh.'" And then Malachi just gave me thumbs up, and he's like, "I love this." I'll never forget. I was like, "Yeah, it is cute." Meh.
It was relevant to our interests.
It was.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
like the
Ballard's a very fun character. He, you know, he just, I can do pretty much anything I wanted and it would still be in character.
So Tina, what was with Zoe? How did you think about making her?
It was actually, I don't remember where, but we were supposed to play. I think it was in Tears of not the dragon. We made with sheep, the one before the dragons. Tears of Dragons.
Dragon's Demand.
Oh yeah, Dragon's Demand. Dark and I were supposed to make a pair of twins, and one of them was Zoe, but she was not called Zoe. And I really liked the idea of this blind oracle who was really good at healing.
Oh yes, I can remember this now.
And we were both gonna have wolves as well. It was pretty cool actually. I think you were a ranger.
Yeah,
you
we
were
were
gonna
going-
be my eyes.
It was. Yeah, this was actually this was when we had ideas for playing Carrion Crown at one point. Actually, to be precise. When we had this, and it was you were going to play the oracle, and I was going to play a ranger, and we were both going to have wolf companions.
Yeah. But then everything changed, and instead of scrapping the idea, I thought, well, why not use it in Forsaken Throne? I remember when I made her, I looked at all the story things, and the suggestion of her being a bastard, I thought that is great. Because then there's kind of an explanation to all this, why she's here, and then the story with the father. Because I remember I just went to Malachi one day, I was like, what is the best job you would want in medieval times? And Malachi was like, a banger. I was like, great.
It's a pretty sweet job.
It was a pretty sweet job, yeah. And I think with the creepy stepmother, I'm pretty sure I had watched an anime.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, that is a great idea to have this creepy stepmom who hurts, who has this weird vendetta against the little girl because her husband gives this little girl more time than she has, and she's only there for the money. And uses this against the little girl, that she has a healing effect around everyone because of the celestial background. But the celestial background, I actually did not take that much part in before. I don't even remember when that happened. Dark?
It would have been.
How did
one sec.
we start that?
I remember I got some kind of message from you, conveniently like a few days after I got a message from Halldamir about a similar topic. But it was chapter 2, I think. It's got brought up. It's quite a while ago.
Because
Sorry, what was this about? Specifically?
when Zoe was gonna be a celestial, I did not plan for that. I wanted her to be some healing being, but the celestial part was something me and Di was like, you know what? She should become an angel. That's pretty cool. That's pretty rad.
So I created a whole new section of the campaign was suddenly born.
Yeah. Suddenly, Doug added in the mother that I had no idea what was going to be anything about. I just thought, well, maybe Doug finds out something. But
Dark likes to make up stuff like that.
you don't say.
He loves it.
Yeah, if you give me a small thing, if you give me the tiny thing to work off, I will build a world around it. I just need a tiny piece of inspiration.
Just give him the seed, he'll make the continent.
I like the
He
fact
is the
that
world tree.
He's the world tree.
he kind of is,
Lord. There we
actually.
go.
You're our world tree, DDS.
I remember that. I think it was a few days before Haldamir's character died. I think me and Malachi had agreed that Zoe and Laurel would spend more time with Vivalin to build up word.
This sounds about right. I remember you saying
build up trust.
Yeah, I remember this kind of
trust
trust
back.
conversation being said.
Yeah, we were gonna have a trust conversation and get the friendship back, and let her know that we do trust her and we want her to be part of our life.
Yeah.
But then,
then
she betrayed us all.
Yeah.
and then we just had to throw that talk out of the
Conversation
window.
changed a little bit. What's like? So, what do you want to tell us about? This whole thing you've been doing.
Well, that's because you found some information.
Yeah.
And I didn't know of that information.
As we can hear about what Riff was created with in mind.
Yeah.
Shall we all?
Yeah, when it came to Riff, it was basically Dark told me, said, do you want to be in this campaign? I was like, yeah, that would be great. I said I'll get Jonas to help me with character creation. He helped me with like four.
Ha! It was me all along, you fools!
It really was Jonas. It really was Jonas. So I had no idea what happened until he came to me Jonas said help me.
Yeah, I basically said to Jonas, I've agreed to do this campaign. Jonas, help me. And I just said I flat out just want to be a magic user. There you go. And he said wizard or sorcerer. Explained both classes. I was like, yeah, sorcerer. I like it. Let's do that. Pretty much character creation was almost as on the spot decision as Riff was. And I built her around that. So I really liked that concept of it. Part of me wishes I didn't make her as chaotic as she was. But then the other part of me says that wouldn't have been the Riff that I made, so I don't wish that she wasn't as chaotic. But she built herself in my mind. I just laid the groundwork. She built herself up, really. So, because my mind likes to run off on a tangent. And she just created her own character in my mind. I didn't exactly sit down and just decide on what she's going to be like. She just kind of happened in my mind. But it was all Jonas's fault. There you go.
Oh, you have the unique thing. You have made 2 characters.
I have made 2 characters. Yeah, the Artemis was when Riff was killed off effectively. I said, yeah, I'm not playing another magic arcane caster, and we already have the divine pretty much settled with our angel over here. So I decided on a paladin to back up the melee fighters. Plus, I'd been looking at the paladins as I was going along, and I thought, well, let's go from squishy sorcerer to mega tanky paladin. And I wanted him pretty much the opposite of Riff, but not like the typical paladin that was all work and no play. I wanted him to be laid back. And then Dark gave me the whole dragon thing, and it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna roll with this.
Basically, what I just
And
hung in front of him was.
he built himself as well.
What do you think of Apsu?
I like to build my characters.
Yeah, basically what I did was I put basically, what do you think of Apsu? Kind of described a bit about it,
Of that.
showing the page, and then just Halldamir accepted, and then we built the character.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was an idea. It was like, that's one way I could. That's one way I could bring it in. How does he feel? How do you feel about Apsu? Not describing the world trade. I mean, just the Apsu.
Yeah, and then it was like, yeah, Apsu's a cool dude. I agree with this. Let's build a character on this shit. And I think overall Artemis became a decent enough character. I mean, we didn't get to see him flourish because he was already a pre-built guy. He didn't start from rags and go to riches.
Well, you did say that you had made a character because Riff died all the time.
Yeah, I did have a backup character that was a paladin, but he was more like self-righteous, like Cool Rooney. And then when it came to the actual thing, it's like, I can't play that straight after the Riff. Like, that's too much of a
I have never
change.
done anything wrong.
Yeah, I just can't do that. Like, no. So I talked to Dark for like hours, deciding on how I would go with it. And I just built a framework for Artemis. Part of me wishes we had longer with him, but he did the job. He did it well. Yeah, it's all Jonas's fault. I blame Jonas.
It's also his turn.
Yeah,
now.
man.
It is also my turn, yes. So yeah, making Raphael. I have always had a pet peeve when it comes to tabletop role-playing games and when it comes to video games in general. I'm a huge fan of the swashbucklery Dread Pirate Roberts / Zorro type of fencing, like really like Three Musketeers, like thin blades, a lot of agility, not any armor. It's just skill and speed and just dexterity to get the job done. I think that is I think that is a great spectacle, and I like it a lot. The problem I usually have is that type of fighting is almost never ever accommodated in any games ever. Like, I can't even think of a good game where you can play like a fencing swashbuckling type character that is not like some sort of character action game, So what I wanted with Raphael was to create that character. I wanted basically to show the world that it can be possible and such a character can be really, really good. Like, you don't have to have huge armor and a two-handed sword to be a fighter. I wanted to build on speed and skill instead. And, my original idea was like a really complex multi-class duelist snake-style monk fighter thing, 3-class hybrid.
Which looked pretty amazing. I should say it looked pretty amazing when you showed me.
Which was pretty amazing. Like, I spent a lot of time crafting that, and then like a week, like 2 weeks or something before campaign start, the new source book come out with Swashbuckler in it, and I'm like reading through it. I read Swashbuckler and I was like, this is exactly what I want. This is what I have wanted for so long. Like, what? Okay, done. I'm done. This is what Raphael is going to be. And then Swashbuckler, and then at that in the same time frame, I had also rewatched the Antonio Banderas Zorro movie, which I do recommend. And I had recently also watched Princess Bride. I was like, all right, I know what type of swashbuckler character I want. I want someone who is quips. He doesn't take anything seriously really, except his mission. He's a good guy, but you know, he's not righteous in that way. I basically wanted a cool party dude who could also fight.
Would Raphael challenge a Sicilian when death is on the line?
Raphael would challenge anyone. That was how I built him. Like he was a guy who would never back down from a fight if a fight presented himself, you know, to him. Like he would never back down from that. And then I thought, well, he's gonna be this amazing swordsman, and you know, I want him to be like that. That's what I wanted to be, and have that like flippant, roguish, rakish characteristic over him to give him something else than just being good at swords. You know, I want him to be more than just swinging a sword. And I think I think I succeeded, all things considered. He exceeded my wildest expectations when it came to effectiveness. The swashbuckler class is amazing. Even like the nerf they did like halfway through the campaign or at the end of the campaign, where it was like, oh, you can never reduce the parry cost with your like favorite deed feat. Like even with that gone, he was still very effective.
Almost like they had watched.
It's almost like they watched. It was like, this is unreasonable.
Holy, you parried that dragon like, oh, god damn.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. It did. And yeah, he Swashbuckler, man, holy crap, is it good? And I'm so happy I played him. So happy to get to realize my swashbuckling dreams and be like, warriors with big armor and swords? Pah! Fuck that! I have a rapier and clothes, and I can kick your ass.
I like the fact that we just agreed that Rodriguez, the greatest swordsman in the world, was in family with Raphael.
He wasn't a swashbuckler, he was a duelist.
Yeah, he was a duelist.
Which is pretty much inferior.
Yes.
Well, he sounded, you know...
Also doesn't work against undead.
No, it was unfair.
Yeah, Marcus just rolled up and punched.
None of his crap worked.
Yeah.
All the crippling...
But yeah, that's basically was my plan with Raphael. I can say something about his name also, I guess, because he had so many names. It was basically, you know, he is ridiculous. He's a ridiculous character, and just one name is not enough. I need many names. So I basically sat down with like a list of like Italian and Spanish names, like 100 on each list, and I just picked like at random different names from the list and just added it on.
Do up to 49 sessions. I cannot pronounce it all.
No.
Well,
that's fine. That was
isn't that France?
That's
a city in Italy.
Firenze is
that's Florence.
Oh, right.
Italian.
I just get the whole. I just know I heard someone sound like Raphael say Firenze all the time, and then oh shit!
Io autore da
Creed.
Firenze.
Assassin's Creed, they say Firenze all the time.
Raphael,
I know.
Eduardo, Dante, Arturo, Enrique de Firenze. Yeah, that's Raphael.
Really, when I was writing in my notes, like whenever I'd have to write down Raphael's full name, I stopped, opened map tools, copy pasted,
Yeah,
it out with a token, and repeated.
I think we all did. You know, I've been so used to copy stuff from Jonas' token when it comes to shields and buffs, and I always copy your token. It's like, oh, just double click on his token.
Yeah, I'll take all of that.
Just gonna cap all this.
Well, then I don't have to write fire shield and all that. But I can't do that in the dragon campaign because you don't own your token.
True,
so
true.
I take myself double clicking your token, like, oh shit, I have to do it myself. What?
But yeah, in the end, my ambition was to create a swashbuckling character that would not back down from any fight and could go toe to toe with anything, and I think I succeeded.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was horrifyingly deadly. You did the job, man.
I think he was one of few characters who never died ever in the campaign.
You and Laurel never died. I had a list.
Except for that one time.
And Artemis.
Except for that one time when rocks fell, everyone died.
That door was
That doesn't
dangerous.
The
count.
rocks
That doesn't
literally
count.
fell.
Yep, rocks. That's exactly what happened. So
Which could have
I'm
been
happy.
avoided, but I mean, the whole there's a story death.
You know, I'll say I'm happy I can cross that off the like role playing bucket list.
Yeah.
Rocks actually
Artemis
fell and
died.
everyone died.
Having taken that risk to get the injection that gives you one standard action when you would otherwise have died is not as useful when that is, oh yeah, you have 3 seconds more to be buried in rocks.
Yep.
Yeah. I loved it. We were like, shit, we've got
Like,
a standard
what do I
action.
do?
What do we do?
So-
I was actually surprised when you guys, like, I was super surprised when I was like, the place is caving in. We go for the vault.
So
It's our party. What did you expect? Did you honestly think we'd just be like, yeah, we're out? You
I thought
didn't
you
think
Like
actually
we
we
could
could
run
go
out
for
of
the
the
vault?
distance. Just stabilize the shot. Regardless,
Yeah. That damn door.
That was great.
I think that was part 1.
that was part 1. Let's do a quick story recap then.
All right. Wrong campaign.
Well, last time on Way of the Wicked, we defeated Antharia.
It's more like I was thinking. So yeah, like chapter 1, like in the north side.
Yeah.
North Side Alliance. I think that's almost one of my favorite parts of the campaign.
Yeah, it was really nice when we had
Yeah,
that.
so,
But,
yeah.
but it started out with our like quarter being in quarantine because of
zombie
plague.
invasion.
Yeah, zombies.
Remember our first like run through the streets, like a supply run or something, when we were like, "Oh God, we need to get
God,
to."
remember when we met those zombies? Like, we should just
Yep.
ignore them. And they were like, no, Raphael, because he doesn't run from us. Like, no, we should kill them. And
Yeah.
then we knew one of them.
Yep.
Shit. And we
Well,
found the cure
And
that
that fight
bread
was
from
the
the
first
baker.
of many times that I almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was
You
it
didn't
was
do too well
that
there,
guy
did you?
came in the tavern and he was like and attacking everyone.
No, he didn't attack him. He just
No,
had
he
a-
didn't. No. He was just a funky looking dude.
Yeah.
He just went in and was like, I want some breakfast.
fungi
And
looking
Raphael's
dude.
like, get out of here, demon. And he's like, what? He's like, you haven't seen yourself in the mirror this morning? Like, no.
Like, oh god.
Oh my god, I look like a monster.
We were like, gather everyone. We need to figure it out.
I need to figure this
Medical
out.
team.
Yeah, we did like Madame Scarlet was there. She
Old
was like this
witch.
mysterious old witch. It's like, I am not a witch! And we're like, yeah, you're totally a fucking witch.
Oh, and she's old as fuck.
I love
Uh-huh.
Madame
Yeah,
Scarlet.
she's old as fuck. She must know.
She must
Yeah, oh yeah, she's old as fuck. She must know.
Yeah, because I was really tired one session and I actually felt out of character like that. And then that was boring. Honestly.
Mm.
Uh,
But yeah, that was like chapter 1 was a humble beginnings, and it was interesting. Like fighting through that like zombie apocalypse thing that was happening.
Yeah, I'll say Madame Scarlet was one of my companions that Dark got us to create. I was like, yeah, I'll have an old biddy lady next to me as well. But I was just like, yeah, you can deal with that because I don't have time before session because it was like a last minute thing, I believe.
Yeah, you didn't give me any details, so I made details.
Yeah, I was like, she's an old lady, she's magical, job done. All right, I'll just leave you to it. And Dark made Madame Scarlet from that.
I liked the idea of fungal zombies. You know, that there was
Yeah.
like an infestation, and like then we were like stupefied, like what the fuck is this? And now with like the mother in mind is like, of course there were fungal zombies. You know, of course. All makes sense now.
You see, everything was actually pointing towards a common thing. Just it was so far away, you could never know it was coming.
well, we didn't see that coming out, let's say that.
But for G camps, we were gathering people up to fight, and I think that's almost becoming like a thing in the campaign. We gather a lot of armies and stuff, and then we don't use them and just go in ourselves.
Yeah, it's like you hold them off, and we go in and take care of this.
Armies, you stand ready. If we fail, it's up to you. But
But I remember also like one of the like when we first like ran into Lorraine. What's that his name? Lorraine,
Yeah,
Lorne,
San Lorraine.
San Lorraine, yeah. And he was like, yes, give me the cure so I can cure my wife. Was it? It was someone like locked in a room.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was like ordering us to cure.
Yeah.
It was his wife was turning.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then we.
remember the ring that Riff just put on, and then she turned into an old woman?
no,
No.
He had we found a wedding ring
Oh,
that was
right.
magical, and Riff put it on, and she turned into an old woman
She was
because
not
it was
the woman.
magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not the owner.
Like if you steal my wedding ring,
Yeah, only gotta be cursed.
mess you up.
Yeah,
So yeah, like the
We
supply
had to-
runs we did.
we had to find the password so he didn't know. So he didn't know that we tried to sell
And we
it.
we find like supplies hidden away and stuff, and like and we realized all of this is engineered. You know, this is coming from outside somewhere.
And we basically bested him because
We took down.
he was gonna cleanse everything,
Yeah, he was gonna put everything to the torch,
kill
basically.
everyone, and like use it to gain all the financial power and wealth to get himself out, so he could be like his awesome little brother, who had like the.
Oh yeah, I remember
Gold
his little
district.
brother.
Yeah.
He was so
Wasn't that
annoying.
him? I think it was him.
It was him. Yeah, it was him.
Killed Master Lorraine.
So we take control of North Side, and we also in that like ran into Crimson and the Loyalists.
Met the Empress for the first time.
Met the Empress for the
That was
first
very
time,
shocking. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
it was-
god, this is not what I
everyone-
expected at all.
Everyone
Yeah.
They're like dimensional hounds and like a realm of magic, and it's like I just came from out the street.
was. I'm just a simple shop owner. Oh God. It was pretty great. It's pretty great.
Remember that day.
We met Christmas Crimson and the Loyalists. We're like, well, we're not gonna get on this. We're not gonna fight the Queen. What the fuck?
Exactly. And we're like, oh well.
Nope, 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 nope.
Yeah, that was not possible.
I think that's
But
a great end to your humble beginnings.
But it was also like when we realized that like if we want to save our district, we kind of need to do it ourselves because
Yeah.
there's no help coming really.
Yeah, like nobody cares about North Side.
Yeah.
It was sad that no one cared about North Side because I feel so many
But it really
cool
brought the
people.
community together.
There were so many cool people in the North
Sebastian.
Side.
There
It's
were
really
so
like
many
a
cool
community.
people, and no one just cared.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we did look from outside, but it looked pretty crazy.
Yeah, and
so-
that was also the point where we like looked at the other like district leaders and like hated all of them,
yeah.
you know, because we saw them all as being like, oh, North Side, well.
No help was coming. They just barricaded us in
None of
there.
them were bad.
But we, you know, from our point of
No,
view, it
generally, the
looked-
first impressions in this campaign has been, God, I want to kill them.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. It's true. It's true.
Who
But
was
then-
it that
You
had?
know, you're heroes though. You're heroes though. You put yourself before. I mean, you put your everyone else's needs above before your own hatred and managed to not kill everyone.
And then we sort of like transitioned from that, like sort of okay, we need to build up North Side. You know, we need to gather allies. Laurel did his thing on the council. We did our thing on the streets, and like we started to like gather people and like started to slowly sort of unveil some of the like meta plots and stuff. And then
The
everything
king
just
began messing with us.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the king started poking at us, and
The
we're
thing
like,
about making us
That
arrested.
gunpowder.
mhm.
He sort of tried to. We were hunting like thieves guild people and whatnot, and then
Yeah.
he suddenly
At the time, more specifically, you were going after House Aaron.
yeah, because
They
they,
had a
they,
little
had, they had
gunpowder.
been funding the fungal zombie project,
Yeah.
but so his mother's
So they were
help.
also
And then we
they were also
connected her
interested
to
in
the
funding
king.
So,
And then we made the first of the big, like, desk boards with names and lines.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And basically, we were going to take him down, and the king came and arrested us. Put us in, like,
That was
prison to die.
that was a shock. That was a shock.
It
when we
was
stormed
so, and
that,
just took Karun, gave him a concussion, and threw him into a room.
and like
What?
like fucking blue cloaks storm, and you're like, oh god.
What do we even do?
Yeah.
Well, and then we didn't do anything, and then we got captured, and then we got the
What could we
tattoos, and got freed out by...
We couldn't really have done anything.
And I think
No,
it was that at that point also we sort of decided, yeah, we need to, if like the
Fuck the
king is
king.
involved in this, we need to we're gonna start like really being subversive, you know.
That's when we made the like the Wolsenbrag bunker was made at that point.
the
But
bat
just
cave.
that's when that was revealed.
Yeah, that was a
But
great
just
reveal.
that purpose we had built in.
Mhm.
That was a fun part.
It was a fun part.
Yeah.
At what session did you actually start making that?
Oh, it was early when we began, because we were like, this shit's gonna go down at some point, and we need like a base of operations where we can go, because we were like basically, well, last time this happened, we had nothing,
Yeah, there was
and
like,
we were like, we
six
need to
sessions
next
before we
time when
revealed
something
it.
goes down, we need to have something, And we're gonna
Yeah.
make something that we can go to and be like, it's hidden and safe, have access to everywhere, and like have all the information we might need, and have food and water and people who can gather information for us, and just like build this amazing
Well,
place.
didn't you see that it was kind of creepy the way you invited us in there? You brought wine, gave us
Yeah.
all a glass. Like, I hope you, just like I hope
Right.
you don't.
But that is Laurel's character. He is
That-
kind of creepy and kind of
You don't-
unsettling because
It,
you
it
know
was
Yeah.
kind of like, I hope you don't see our friendship as nothing or something like that. I was like, we don't. We really appreciate your friendship, Laurel.
It was all very sinister.
It's like it's cool and shit. It's
And it was
I
great.
like that Halldamir was like, "You're not gonna kill us, are you?" And I was like, "That's what I was thinking."
yeah.
And
It's like, oh shit, you're gonna kill us.
and
Fuck.
like
He's gonna kill us.
and then we had our base. We started like subverting everything, and then everything fucking
Gathering
derailed because Rith showed up with a book,
yes.
and we were freaking out so hard.
There was,
Why did
there
we
was the
even
whole
let
going
her?
to the royal party.
I don't
Defending
know.
the Archmage was a big deal for the.
Yeah.
That was very big.
And
I
then,
think
then
that
was a Erlane
Huge
and the
step.
box we got.
Mhm.
Beating
Yeah, we
him up.
started gathering like these weird
We
artifacts,
didn't really know what they were for, except that we could like they were the enemies.
And then we
basically.
poked it with a we poked the book.
Then we
to these
discovered
weird
discovered
artifacts.
the Emperor
Mhm.
Yeah.
was having something to do with it. At this time,
know-
we still thought he was like didn't really do it to be cruel or evil,
Mhm. We just thought he did it for
for like power.
yeah.
Yeah.
order.
He didn't seem like a bad guy at the time from his own point of view.
Yeah.
She
You
stole
know-
the book from the Archmage and shit went.
And I think like that, and when we get to and when we unravel that William was still alive, and like we being held in prison at that was for me the absolute high point of the campaign. Like those
it's like-
those collection of like 5 sessions or something, man, that was awesome. That was so great,
Intense.
and
You
like
know-
the
And so they put down cheese wagon prison break.
that was probably my favorite
Oh, yeah,
session
I had
of the
to
entire
talk with
campaign.
The
I tell
Prince
you,
Bishop
Rift
about
did.
that.
Riff did so much like downtime preparation for that prison break. She had the blueprints. She had
Yeah. I got
like
the
all
map.
sorts done.
And then after that, the vortex
dragon.
happened.
Oh yeah,
You
the
know,
world ended.
I think you skipped Orlane Kid so too fast. You know, it may be terrible, but it was funny as well.
I don't think he died at that point. Has he died
No,
yet?
he
No,
wasn't.
no,
he
but
wasn't
we-
dead at that point.
No, but we found him with the box and we didn't know what to do with it. You remember he teleported away? We were like, shit! And
Yeah.
you was like, not to metagame or anything, but that teleport was not great a teleport.
He's probably close by.
Probably somewhere close. I was like, yeah, Riff would totally know that. So I was like, yeah, sure, Riff would totally know that.
Yeah, I think
it's
Riff rolled quite
so
high on our Arcana for
We
that.
beat
one.
him up.
It
we
was
beat him
funny,
up.
and we just,
Yeah.
took him with us.
But,
Like, what am I gonna do with him? Shit.
The Aeons seemed very random at the time. Like,
That was
Yeah.
what the
fucking
fuck?
scary.
The
that
world is
freaked me
broken.
out.
I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm ready to play post-apocalypse. All right, fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
will
was
do.
And
I
then
was
the
like,
Aeons were like, nope, it's going
Then
back. in time.
time's gone back.
yeah, at that point I just threw up my hands. You know, like I don't even know what the fuck is going on anymore. Like
I did.
I tell you what. When Dark said that the Aeons like wanted to turn back time, I literally threw my hands up in the air. Like I don't even fucking know now.
What? Why did it roll to even break it? That stone.
She was under the influence of the witch.
Okay, why did the witch want to break the stone?
She was under the influence of the mother.
Why did the mother want to break the stone?
Because the
wanted to
mother
hurt
wanted to
Down
break.
the realm.
yeah, to break down
Yeah.
the realm.
The mother was experimenting to see what would happen if she was to destroy them.
Really,
So-
it's a mind control chain.
So she sent she was,
Yeah.
It's
so
you know
so she sent a suggestion to the witch to send a suggestion to Arolda.
I think the chain was a little ridiculous. I'm sorry, Dark, but when it's like, well, I'm controlling this person who controls this person who controls this person.
But my
I-
cohort has a cohort who has a cohort.
I found it
Unfortunately-
ridiculous.
Unfortunately, most villains, even without mind control, still work in that method. Though, just yeah.
I just feel that
I don't go out directly. I send my minions out, and they send their minions out.
I'm just saying that I would think that Irolda would have been either in some kind of protection or strong enough herself to make sure that shit like that wouldn't happen. Which is why I was so angry at her that she was so incompetent to make sure that a powerful person as her couldn't make sure that suddenly I'm gonna destroy everything. So that's the main reason I hated her. Is like she's so incompetent when it comes to this kind of shit. What the fuck?
Her will save is low, and I hate her for it.
What if she just rolled a 1? You
I
don't
don't
know.
care. She's a she's a really
Ways to get rerolls.
yeah, there is, and she's a really important person, and of course she should have people who make sure that she is not controlled. But everyone's like, can someone control people? We're like, yeah, and they were basically like, dude, we didn't know that.
I was surprised.
I was surprised, but that also is the chapter
but when
3.
you talk to a freaking archmage, he should freaking know.
Chapter 3 was a
chapter 3
clusterfuck
was
shit.
was a clusterfuck, and it was paranoid city.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
so paranoid about everything and everyone, and oh my god.
Orc invasions.
Yes,
That was great. I mean, we ended up like throwing fireballs and fighting
those
them.
It was like gold
And
hammer
stone-
on
Yeah,
my
that one
eyes.
was fun.
You saved Stonehammer.
We
It's
saved
on
Yeah,
armor.
so-
It's pretty
by
great.
With
rubbing
the-
jelly all over us.
With the stabilized wand, I found some. Well, you guys found somewhere and gave it to me. I gave
And
it to
then the
him.
arena fight was great.
And it was an opening
That
ball,
ball?
and we saw Laurel dance, which was great.
Which was
Mhm.
incredible.
Fly
Fly
Was it-
dance, yeah.
with
Riff
the
got
witch,
drunk.
wasn't it?
No,
Raphael
no,
got
it-
stabbed.
Yeah, it was
Someone
Witch.
else, I think.
The Asmodeus costume was the witch, I thought, right?
No, that was some of the. It was like one of the leaders of the Thieves Guild.
Mm.
Oh, right.
Was it that dude who came out? Okay, I can't dance.
No, it was
but I
it
can
was
fight.
it was Iris, I think,
Mm.
something like that.
Oh,
Something like that.
did you dance with the blue flame?
Maybe yeah. But that time
It
she was
was
mind controlled and
pretty
evil. So
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when the whole mind controlled, I was so close to say, you know what, I'm out of this shit. This is too
it's
stupid.
crazy.
I liked the ball because it was like it was a like chilling
It was
down a little
chill,
bit, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like everyone was like chilling out a little bit.
that was my favorite part. It was when we had to go and goof off. It's like, yeah, let's go
It was
party.
good. It was
party.
good. Like, let's get
I'm
drunk.
sad we never
Fuck
did
you
go to
guys.
the beach.
Well, you know.
We
And
did it
then-
in
And then
Epilogue.
I don't exactly know how exactly. Oh yeah, we got like a tip, like, oh, by the way, there's a whole town that's filled with undead, and we're like, what?
That was...
Say
yeah,
what?
Who said
That
that?
was
Was
Riff.
that?
Riff had found out about it, and she was like, "This is happening." Like,
We should
she
probably
found
deal with
out
that.
at downtime, and she was like, "This is a serious fucking problem.
Oh, we
Why have we
should.
dealt with this?"
Like vampire under town. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember freaking out on the couch. Was like, shit like this is going on. What the
We're
fuck
like,
are you
but-
guys doing?
But there's
Yeah.
some bureaucracy, you know.
Like,
I
get your
was like-
finger off, you
channels.
asshole. You know, I just got angry at all the high leaders' incompetence with all this shit. They were like, duh. They knew shit. What?
I mean,
What if
very
we had-
realistic.
If we hadn't
that-
shown up, this place would have gone to the shitters. I don't know what to say. But that's what pissed me off. That all the leaders just didn't know anything about what they were supposed to do and what they were supposed to know a lot about. No one knew anything. And everyone was surprised about everything. It's like, oh, there's undeads. Well, yeah, maybe you
And-
would have thought. Why didn't we hear from Larry?
Oh, Larry.
I haven't heard
We
from Larry
were-
in 3 months, but he's probably okay. He's dead. Oh, Larry.
When we were in there, and Raphael did that throw rapier kill on that ghost. That was awesome.
Oh my god, that ghost freaked me so. I had a whole talk with Dark to find out how to make sure that Raphael wouldn't die because of that stupid ghost.
Oh,
And
that
she-
dread ghost.
She followed me and she's like, this rose has suddenly just appears. I was like,
Riff also
oh
had
my god, there's only one person this could be about.
Yeah, and I remember like getting like frantic messages from Tina, like, "Oh God, are you dead?" I'm like, "No, I'm not.
It was because it was a rose and it was withering. I was like, oh, he's dying.
It's an
then,
omen."
2 sessions later, I had like 2 sessions later, I had a downtime with Dark, and I had the same thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, we're really fucked. Raphael's dead. Like, he's gonna die." It was a serious issue at that point. I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh
And-
god, we need to protect him and shit, and we need to like."
Yeah.
Omen!
him
And at
wards
this
and
point,
bullshit.
And at this point, Raphael is like walking around. He doesn't know any of this shit. He's just,
he
you know,
knows nothing.
walking around, looking
La
around,
la
like,
la la.
Yep.
No one's giving
Like-
you bad omens.
Isn't
And then-
isn't
then-
life great? He sang to himself as like Rith and
Isn't
so
life
like freak out.
mysterious?
And like Luna, I had to like Riff had to kind of like try and explain to Luna how to like that she was that she had actually been in that realm for like hours.
I was pretty sure
To
Luna
the-
was evil at one point.
Yeah.
I was also
was
pretty sure that
actually-
that was the case.
Yeah.
Like Riff had to basically say like all of my wards that last for like half the day are gone, and you just saw me walk out of that room. Like I haven't been able to recast that because I've just gotten out of that fucking room. I've been in there for fucking hours, and she's like, "Oh shit, actually it's real." Like Zoe's real. Like Zoe's saying that it was a real thing. I believe now.
Yeah,
and
she didn't
it's like
believe
fucking
me.
hell. Oh,
I saw Dread Ghost. Oh, there's so many weird stuff down here. Yeah, maybe you should look into that.
But
Yeah,
chapter
no.
3 was exhausting.
It was.
it
Yes.
was.
Like he was like
That
fighting like witch, like everyone, like it was just
It was utter madness, and it was
just leaning back and like
Oh, and
Just- fucking madness.
and then we ousted the
Remember.
witch, kicked her out, and then we
Then chose to
moved-
forget all about
Yeah,
her.
and we just
Yeah.
and I think
You-
you and
We
me,
just
Slug it
Manakai,
out.
like you,
Not even talk
yeah, you and me, Manakai, basically just agree. We don't even
Yeah.
maybe Darks forgets about the witch
Maybe it
if
will
we
just
don't.
go
know,
away. Maybe
the-
if we don't talk about it, it will just go away.
Yeah, maybe just.
I remember coming
the
home
mind
from
controllers.
a therapy session, and Maddie was like, "Me and Jonas has agreed that the witch is just gone." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, we just don't talk about it, never mention it again, and maybe
like,
maybe
no,
she's
I
just
did
gone.
I did see Merlin, and the way they kill the bad person in that is to ignore her. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
We
So we
just
told-
ignore you.
So we totally
Yeah.
tried that.
Began doing crazy awakenings and
Mm-hmm.
really getting into the aberrant stuff.
Yep.
I still like.
I had pretty much just become like in the previous chapter, like chapter 3, I had become like the mutant.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that
Yeah.
when we went to that city of death, that we looked for an inquisitor, and the only inquisitor we could find was called Thorn. He's like, "Oh, we found an inquisitor who could go with you. He's called Thorn." I was like, "No, can you find someone else?" "No, he's really good."
It's actually really good. He knows a lot about devils and stuff. You're like,
Yeah,
huh?
I don't
Does
want
he?
to
Huh?
work with this.
Yeah,
He
well.
was really nice, though. He was.
Before we had the world tree, we removed the Prince of Shadows,
Mm-hmm.
full arm killing everyone. I mean, at this point, we were kind of in control.
Yes.
I like the
And that's
fact
kind of what happened in book 3. We kind of
Chapter-
gained control of the Empire.
Yeah. Chapter
Like-
4 is
like-
us
Yeah.
seizing control.
we all
Chapter
just
2
talked
was
about.
our
Maybe we
clusterfuck.
should just snuff out the witch's orb on the tree.
Yeah, we were like, if we could find the witch orb. Style that. But yeah, chapter 4 was like solidifying our hold on the Empire and like cleaning up a lot of
Underdark
loose ends.
invasion, yeah, killing cults. And
Yeah.
killing under. And then we died.
And then we died, and that was like a whole damn thing.
And like,
There
oh well, I
was-
mean, that's that. So
There was a question in chat that would fit in perfectly right now. What was Orcus's reaction to us closing that rift? Was he like mega pissed, or was he just like, I can
mean,
do
he's
it?
not
I,
even
I, will
there.
sum, I, will sum, I will summarize it in 2 words: table flip.
You know, someone did draw a picture of him, didn't they? With the roll the 20 die.
It was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
It was
that's-
amazing, that
Jake's,
picture.
Jake's
Right.
picture of it's great. It's like,
That
no!
was
What
the
the
best
fuck?
roll. Like
No
that
way.
20 saved
And
saved Artemis. I think.
and we died, which was a really powerful moment. Like
That sucked.
waking up and seeing that so many years had gone, like all the changes
Yeah.
and stuff. That was great. I really liked that. That's
Everybody
also
ever
one
knew
of
was
my.
dead.
That's also one of my favorite sessions. I think.
I was
Uh,
dreading. I was dreading that Dark was actually going to turn around and say, "Right, and we'll pick this up from next session." As we died, I was really dreading that he was going to
I
do
was just
that.
really sad that all the stuff
Oh,
I had
yeah.
been constructing was suddenly gone.
mhm.
Yes.
Laurel is
You
nothing
talked to
without
me
all his crap.
You talked so much to me about it. You were so angry. And he's like, what am I going to do now? Like,
You piece of shit, elf stealing my crap.
But that
Kill
was
me and my friends, but
but that
stealing my
was-
shit, that's fucking out of there.
but that
you.
also that was the point where like I think the whole group and like Manika, you and me specifically talked about it a lot, but I think the whole group basically like at that point turned as one like towards the mother and said, no, this is enough. We
Yeah.
have had
Yeah.
Shit.
completely
This is
enough of
weird.
you.
Fuck you, lady.
Now-
And listen,
now-
you're screwed. You're
Everyone,
so damn screwed.
yeah, we're not. We tried to do this
I'd like to
nicely.
ask everyone. Say we weren't gonna do it.
What?
What?
What? Oh, I said we weren't gonna do it. You know, we were just gonna ignore her. But that was
Oh,
It didn't work. She poked us
well, at
too
this
much.
point we had already like the
Yeah.
witch thing had already happened.
Can
Like
I
the mother
ask-
was like
There was like a
background
book
thing
like
until now.
there was like a 4 thing where we were like, okay, Ruth, this is just you. I mean,
Yeah, you can't.
this is too much.
Can I
You
ask
can't.
you all a question?
Mhm.
Because we all got a document from Dark that we were to read when we died.
Yes.
And we were not allowed to talk to each other about it, which just tore me apart.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to open it or nothing.
I
Well,
like
even
it.
when we did read it,
It's about laughing maniacally and gaining the power of life and death, and then suddenly blacking
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Well,
that's not what you.
are we allowed to read them up to each other now?
You can't stop us now.
I would like
Not
to
the
know what
DM
all
anymore.
yours
Yeah,
said.
he's not our
The
DM
reason-
anymore.
The reason I said you couldn't was because at the time, if you started like discussing what you saw, it would have completely broken the immersion of that moment, which would ruin the entire effect of
I
trying
think
to put
it's
together.
called
Oh, yeah.
Epilogue, which is usually
Mine is
like
called Dark Reach.
the end. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
collapse of document epilogue.
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think I have it on my PC, but it was basically like the white dragon was basically mocking me. In the like from my grave, he was mocking me, saying, "Come on, you can do better than that. Don't be a pussy. Get back
yeah,
up."
he was. Yeah, it was the White Dragon of the Gold's Court, basically mocking him, trying to taunt him back to life.
Yeah, and I just picture it as Artemis like waking up saying, "Fuck you, just fuck you." I really wanted to say that in the.
For
in
me,
the
it was also a
session.
powerful moment as the DM because I needed to go through everything the players had done and try and build what I thought was the best thing I could for that each individual character as a kind of a connection point.
I really liked it. It was a good moment. It was a really good.
It was lucky that it was Olcus who killed it because apparently he grasped our souls for himself, meaning that I could not be rendered and repeated into an evil aboleth.
Oh,
Which is also the reason Laura was so hardworking not to die. Because,
Oh yeah, you would.
you know, he would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, King Kovala says in chat that us teaming up with Selma always annoyed him, and it annoyed the hell out of me as a player and Raphael as well. Like that was, but then I sort of realized. I think Malachi said to me, "It's basically you have to choose. It's either we use her or the world dies." And I was like,
Yeah,
that's
like,
fine. All right.
when we teamed up with Selma, I was like, "Oh fuck,
Fine.
come on, really?" It's like
Yeah.
3
Oh,
or 4
fuck.
sessions ago. Come on.
I can't believe you've done this.
Well, it wasn't so much that Rith teamed up with her, more that she did it like behind our backs in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Selma, she had like
And
answers, and she basically said, "Yeah, it's either my way or no way." It's like fuck, you have too many answers to.
She
pass up.
wasn't just going to give them out without having security.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was a few times where I tried to get her to like undo it so I could tell the group everything, and it was just like she would just say nope and stop talking, and that was it, and I wouldn't be able to talk to her for ages
But
to
you know,
find
in,
out shit.
in
She
the
gave
end, we
out
won.
great secrets.
In the end, we won, so that's all that matters, I suppose. We took the capital back, we
Oh, yeah.
closed the rifts and abysses, and like stormed the mother and killed the emperor. So, all in all, it was quite something.
I cried when I had to read my Dark Reach with Zoe, and I remember Manic had to go and get me a tissue.
Oh,
I shared it.
It
in
was
the chat
it was a
with-
powerful moment.
Why did you do that? I just remember thinking, you know what, Dark? You knew I would cry. You knew it. You're
What was
sadistic.
this? Sorry.
You, to be honest, if I had gotten such a document, I might have.
I got a good document as well. I got the feels.
Yeah, I mean, Dark, do you have the documents at hand? Because I don't. I don't have mine.
I do have them at hand.
you
Sure,
could
I can
Post
post
mine
it. City of Emerizia.
because I don't
secret-
particularly remember it.
Secret documents. Control F, Artemis. There it is.
Yeah.
What?
That was Artemis's one. But then I have some in here like other secret documents for other people, which may or may not have gotten used at times. But those are. Yeah,
But yeah, all
We are still missing a Raphael one.
in all, though, pretty good story. You know, it's
was great.
lots of ups and downs in this campaign. You know, it was a roller coaster, and especially around 2-3 there. Oh boy, it went to bed like wrecked emotionally every session.
I think the 9 sessions of 3 will really hit you though.
That really.
A magical anomaly.
Oh boy, everything in those were.
Partially, I will remind you, Chapter 3 was altered significantly because of one event, which I'm now going to highlight.
It's stealing the damn book.
Of course.
Yep, that I said at the time. The result of that being done earlier than expected changed the contents of Chapter 3.
I will say that was my player inexperience just shining through like a
Just
beacon.
taking it from like a
It
Oh,
was
look,
high
this
level-
heavily
nice
guarded
level
book that the
spellcaster.
Archmage of the Magical Empire is hiding.
just
I'll
uh,
just nip that.
yeah. That was me.
It's like, why you're dooming us all.
Yeah, we were
This
so.
is madness. Get out of my fucking secret base that everyone knows about now. Might as well give like tours.
Guys, I'm sorry, but you have to hear this. This is from Bollards.
About the alien voice.
Your mind begins to see flashes of your life before each of you and your people are to leave behind. You see a military regiment sitting upon an airship, all talking back and forth. A large spiked hammer sitting on the bow of a shipping owner. A large bubbling apple looking at an enslaved row with a look of boredom and without purpose. William looking into the kitchen with hesitation, and a tear looking at a dwarven chef cooking a dish you once made. A large sea deep underwater with bubbling mushrooms. You see a valley of machines as mine-producing items to be put shipboard to the tower. You see the meat shop, busy at work though. The food was never as good as you made it. Ah, no! What horror!
No!
Do you want me to send,
William
do you
doesn't
want me to send you
get
a
his
document?
favorite dish. Yeah.
It was great. It was a
want
perfect
your document
document for Bollard.
Yeah.
Do you want your document sent, Jonas? Also, I had fun writing Jake's one, actually, because
Yeah.
Jake was the
Like,
struggle.
like an evil,
You might as well
like
did, yes.
aberration deity.
You know,
I-
it's
The thing is,
that.
the thing is, Jake didn't have family, so I didn't have those characters to draw on, so I had to be creative with his. It's fun.
Like you hear the alien voices. Like, oh my, I want that.
I want to hear evil alien voices.
I will inform you, I did not have Rift's ones written because I wasn't going to write it until I fought. Until basically I had all the variables in place, which until you entered Drow City. Basically, I started writing the moment you entered the Underdark section.
Alright, I
But you
thought
didn't enter the
that
Underdark with Rift. Rift died.
I thought it was a good question because I know you like to plan ahead.
So
Yes, but I don't like to write these documents ahead. I tend to write them last minute.
we
Yeah.
got to the 5th chapter, speak.
Yes.
Beating the dragon. I mean, this was basically just. This was where we were empowered. I feel we were like the gloves were fucking off.
Yeah, we
Being the Drow City, we're like, we're powerful. We're gonna wreck we have an empire at our
Yeah.
bidding. We're gonna wreck everyone's shit.
We've had enough.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
had
Done.
quite enough of this, and
Just-
everyone, we're going for everyone now.
Bullheadedly smashing down the door and like
Yep.
ripping things to shreds.
No subtlety, nope. It's just
Like screw this elven little douchebag who's like love potioned his sister. Screw the dragon and whatever he thinks he can do.
Yep.
Mother, Emperor, all going down.
Yep.
She has a plane full of things. We'll just build a fucking spaceship and invade.
Yep.
Like we
Dude,
don't give a fuck.
Halldamir, how long did you have a thing with Lucilia?
Pretty much since Artemis arrived in the city.
Yeah,
She
I
flirted
just
very
know.
quick.
Oh my, because this is really cute. You like, William looking disgruntled and depressed as he dragged around by young Lady Catherine. You see the disappointed look of Lady Lucilla as look of Redrusta as she looks down at her note, a sketch of your face drawn on one of the pages. Aww.
Wait, so you actually had a thing with her when she betrayed us?
No, before it.
Before-
Before.
My
way
God,
before.
what a bitch!
But
How
she,
does the relationship survive that?
well, she was dun dun dun.
Usurping
Controlled.
the throne?
Well,
What
he
do you-
just. in fairness,
I think she had 2 true loves of her life. She had to abandon one true love for another, and one had a magic
I
potion.
don't know if I should pick you or my brother. You're like,
In,
oh,
um,
well, I mean, that's not...
in fairness to Artemis, though, he didn't exactly have an exact like bond with the Empire. All he knew of the Empire was this thing outside of the World Tree.
Man, if he had told
He wasn't
her,
exactly
like,
connected.
I'm actually in love with her, he'd be like, God damn it, Alex. What's wrong with you? You betrayed
Now we have to kill another one of Haldamir's
gonna
characters.
wreck her. So how do you feel when we were like, yeah, oh, she's gonna die so hard. We're gonna wear her face like a mask. Like put into like a slave state. Gonna force her plow the fields. I don't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the method like that you were thinking, and he couldn't disagree. That was a dick move on her part, but I don't know. He just kind of.
He's like, we are so broken up.
He didn't even react
Yeah.
badly to that brother. I would expect, like, if I heard that someone had been feeding your girlfriend, like, his brother had been feeding her love potions. I mean, I'd be pretty mad.
I think he did.
I mean, there is one thing to know, which
I
is
wasn't
at the
there for that
time-
session.
Oh well, he
I wasn't there for the session.
fed his sister love potions, which was what made her do it.
Oh, okay. I didn't use love potions.
We let it go. No wait, she killed him, didn't she?
He died.
No, she didn't kill him.
Still out there. Nobody killed him in the epilogue.
Damn it!
No,
Happily ever.
No, he was in.
Elven
He was in the prison, so he was probably executed.
Oh,
No,
fair.
I took him to my realm, and he is perpetually alive and drowning
There we go.
forever.
But yeah, originally Lady Lucilla just hooked onto Artemis as a research project.
Mm.
Easy
Funny,
to
fascinating.
spill information about them.
And then we just like talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked, and
She fell in love with her research, literally.
yeah, it was great.
And yeah, that
She was a very good character. I really enjoyed her character and Selma. But we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, just like I watch movies for the plot.
Halldamir.
Mm?
Rifflin is in Raphael's Epilogue.
What?
Rifflin standing alone with a ship in a bottle, her face filled with sorrow and waving goodbye, muttering the words, sorry.
Ballard, providing fields for all
That
time.
that ship in a bottle. I think I actually made for like I had bought a ship in a bottle for William, and then he moved out. It's like, God fucking damn it, because William was like obsessed with Raphael. So I bought him like a little ship in a bottle.
Aww.
That's adorable.
He was before your death. He was obsessed with Raphael because of all the sword training.
Yeah, I had bought William so fucking much shit. Like, a lot of my money went to just housing and keeping William happy. That was it. That was Riff.
Always building airships and column and
I was building
armies.
little. I was building hidey holes for him.
We also a different scale of money, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I built him like a tiny little passageway to his own safe room.
Yeah, we saw. Guys,
So,
this is what Dark did in mine. It's just unfair. You see your father waving in the distance, his arm filled with puppies, and behind him a floating vision of your mom. You see Sebastian Caroon, each teary-eyed but smiling, William curled in a ball in tears looking out his window, a hospital full of patients quickly rushing around quickly, an epidemic of patients being brought in, a school building full of kids to the sound of prayers and echoes of fun, a memorial statue of a winged angel, Prince Bishop peering out his window of the city with a combination of hope and sorrow. Isn't that evil?
That is.
With me, it was my mother and my brother who were sad.
Every
So-
character had a slightly different tone.
So the
Yeah.
panicked voice called for Zoe. Was that William?
One sec, I would need to read through it again.
It says, Zoe, Zoe, please wake up. A panicked but familiar voice, hallowed voice echoes. The people need you. Your friends need your help. Please get up.
Wasn't it like what's her name? Who did it? Asata?
Liana?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who is saying? We all have a voice talking to us, which is different people in our lives.
That panicked voice saying your friends need you. I think that was the angel from inside the Prince Bishop, if I remember back. Yes, it was.
Huh, that's cool.
Why is he panicking?
Because you died.
Because
you died.
Because he realized, oh crap, I need this person alive.
Yeah. See,
You
I
know-
get shit. I got shit like, he did put too much faith in you. He was more infatuated by your progress than he was by the material of his skills.
I never noticed who it was. It just says, Zoe, Zoe, please wake up. A panic but familiar hallowed voice echoes. The people need you. Your friends need your help. Please get up. Release your wings and embrace me. Open your eyes. Protect your friends once again. Please, Zoe, open your eyes. If not for me, for your love, for who has been missing you.
I think mine was the witch.
God fucking damn it.
1 sec, I'll need to check your one. Did you send it in the chat? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can scroll up and click it.
No, I was never sure, but that was kind of what I guessed.
I can work it out if I
I
read it.
inferred from the.
For mine, but I wasn't sure because it's not very often the angel wanted to talk to Zoe. He was always like, no, another time. So,
Well, shall we move on to our little award thingies?
I'd like to know this first.
Wait, my Twilight is soon upon a rise to be yours. I believe that was the Archmage, actually.
Really?
I believe it was the
You
Archmage.
didn't recognize his voice.
Well, it's
Oh.
a strange and warm multi-hued light, red, gold, and green, begins to shine from the distant void. Yeah, that is an Archmage. But it might have been an Archmage.
Raphael was his mentor, and
My Twilight
Ballard.
is soon to arise.
And
Yes, my Twilight was soon to arise was the Archmage referring to the fact he was almost dead because he knew he was dying.
Aww, Archmage.
Less sinister. So yes, award, I think.
Just for puppies and people crying over in mine, and then I'm crying. It's terrible.
So these badger babies are all taken by an eagle.
No, don't do that. I've never played that game.
They scream out, Zoe! And then they disappear.
You know, they did scream actually, but
Yeah.
not that, but
They
they
still hear the screams.
do every night.
Alright.
Alright,
Go on to
awards!
awards, yeah.
So this is the different arbitrary categories where we sort of, discuss different things. So let's start off, I think.